to Vista Motorhomes and our 2-berth AutoTrail Tracker RS motorhome. I'm going to show you around the features on the outside of your motorhome and also the inside, so you know how everything works and can make the most of your motorhome holiday. This motorhome has central locking. You can unlock the front of the motorhome independently and also unlock the rear of the motorhome independently, which brings the entrance step out. The central button locks all doors. Home is diesel, the filler cap is here, and you'll need the ignition key to unlock. On the passenger side you have the water filler point. That's an external shower point which you won't use. A cover for when you're using the water heater on gas only, and a rear locker. You'll find the hookup point here on the driver's side of the motorhome. This is where you will connect to the electricity supply on site. We provide a hookup cable. For this, you must fully unwind this before using it. There are two ends to the hookup cable. The end with the flap is what plugs into your motorhome, and this is what plugs into the campsite power supply. So to connect the cable, open the flap and push in here until it's fully pushed in, and connect the other end to the campsite power supply. To disconnect the power cable, push down on this lever and pull out the plug. If you are connecting to your own electricity at home, you'll need this adapter for the other end of the cable so that you can plug into an ordinary 3-pin socket. You'll fill the tanks on the motorhome with water. So lift this flap and use the key to turn into the unlocked position anti-clockwise. Good idea to push that in and then twist and give it a little wiggle, and that comes out. So you'll fill up with water from your hose pipe that you'll find in the locker. Put the cap back on. Notice the 3 locators here. Line those up with the notches here. Push in and turn. You'll then lock the cap, and you'll notice once it's locked it will just spin round. Where you'll find your gas bottles to unlock. Turn the keys to vertical, turn the handles, open the compartment, which will lock in position. Your gas bottle is a 6 kilo propane bottle. The gas cylinder will always be supplied in the closed position for safety. When you need to use the gas, unscrew this valve here anti-clockwise, push down on the top of this dial and also push on the green button to start the flow of gas. There's a reminder here of the direction anti-clockwise to open the gas. To close the locker, pull it down, turn the handles and then turn the key to horizontal and push in, and the same on the other side. If you do need to replace the gas cylinder during your hire, replace with a like-for-like 6 kilo propane. You can get these from anywhere with a Calagas symbol, campsites, petrol stations. So use the gas spanner to disconnect here so that you leave this valve connected to the tube, replaced with the new cylinder, strap in and reconnect with the gas spanner. Toilet cassette is located inside the rear locker. So to unlock, turn the keys to horizontal, turn the handles and open the door. To remove the toilet cassette, pull up on this orange handle and the toilet cassette should easily roll out. It has a handle that pulls out, so you can take this to the chemical toilet disposal point that you'll find on most campsites, when you get to the chemical toilet disposal point, you can put that handle away, pull out this tube, remove the end, and to empty it out, push this button that will help you to release everything into the chemical toilet disposal point. When your cassette is empty, you'll need to pull back this flap, open this flap, and there'll be a hose that will allow you to clean out inside. When everything's clean, you will need to use the toilet chemical that you'll find inside the rear locker. You'll need to add roughly half a capful of the toilet chemical, which can be poured directly into here. Then you would close this valve, slide this back over and fold that away. The toilet chemical goes back in here in the corner. So then the toilet cassette rolls back into the compartment, and you'll see this orange lever clicks into the notch there, and you know it's in the right position. The locker on the driver's side of the motorhome is where most of your equipment is kept. To open it, turn the keys to horizontal, push in these buttons until you hear a click on both sides, and the door will drop down. So you can see you have your hookup lead, hose pipe for water, ramps for levelling the motorhome, chairs and table in here. To close this, simply push it back up, push until you hear a click, then turn with the keys back to the vertical position. You'll see you can't push in the buttons anymore, and that is locked. If you're not on hookup, you might want to use the water heater on gas. To do that, you need to remove the cover from this vent. You need to push down on the top and pull out at the bottom, and then it will easily come off. When you're not using the hot water on gas, you can replace the cover, locate it at the top and push back in at the bottom. This tank on the motorhome takes the waste from your sinks and showers. You'll see the waste pipe here, just on the driver's side of the vehicle. When you leave site, you should empty this at the motorhome service point. Once you drive over this, you simply turn this lever backwards and the water will start to flow out. When the tank's empty, pull the lever forward again and your tanks are empty. Now I'll show you how everything works inside the motorhome. The motorhome has a second battery called a leisure battery, which runs the electrical systems for the living area. The control panel for this is located in a wall cupboard behind the driver's door here. To turn this on, use the main button here. You must turn that on for the 12-volt system to operate. This will turn on the 12-volt system. You can use the lights button as a central control for the lights in the motorhome. This will turn on the pump, which pumps water to the taps and shower in the motorhome, and this also indicates that the battery is being charged. Over on the right hand side, this button should be pressed to charge the batteries while you're on mains hookup. To use the space heating on electric, press this button before using the individual controls, and to use the water heater on electric, press this button before using the individual controls. Trip switches are here. They should all be in the up position, so if the power goes off, check these first, and you also have fuses on the left hand side here. From the control panel above the door, you can also control some of the 12-volt systems. This turns on the 12-volt system. This turns on the pump, which pumps water to your taps and shower. This control turns on and off the external light. You'll see on the screen the indication of the fresh water level. You can use these arrows to scroll down to other functions, the wastewater tank level, and the battery condition, several other functions using the scroll which you won't need to use. Over to the right, this button here is to turn on the water heater when on gas. You turn up for standard temperature 50-degree hot water, central position for off, and down for hotter 70-degree hot water. To use the water heater on gas, the gas must be turned on and you must remove the vent cover on the outside of the motorhome. This is a light switch, and this is a thermostat for the electric heater, which we'll cover later. In the kitchen you have a microwave which turns on here. That will only work when you are on electric hookup with mains power. There's also an electric ring on the hob. Again, only operates when you're on mains power. Just switch it on here. The rest of the oven is gas, so your controls are here. You've got ignition for hob and also oven and grill, and a light for the oven here. The sink has a removable drainer cover, so you can use that for additional work surface space. The drawers are lockable using these push catchers, so push to open, and then you can pull the drawers out and make sure they are pushed in and locked for travel. You have an extractor fan in the kitchen area, so to use this, just make sure the vent's open, at least a little bit, by turning this handle. To turn on the fan, use the central button here. So you can use this as an extractor. Press this button and that will extract cooking smells from the kitchen, or you can use it as a vent to pull in cool air from outside the motorhome. And to turn off, just press this button again. The fridge also has a small freezer compartment. The fridge will operate on electricity, gas, or even off the vehicle battery while you're driving. To turn on, use this button here. You'll see it will light up. We're on electric hookup at the moment, so you can see at the moment it's set to work off electric hookup. Whenever you are on hookup, this is the easiest setting to use. If you don't have electric hookup, you can use the fridge on gas by pressing this button here. If you're going to use the fridge on gas, you need to make sure that the gas supply is turned on. You'll hear it clicking there. That's the fridge igniting, and then when the clicking stops, you know you have the fridge operating on gas. The temperature is adjusted up and down using this button here. I suggest you leave it somewhere in the middle, so you can hear the clicking stop and the fridge is operating on gas now. The other mode of operation, which can only be used to keep the fridge chilled while you're driving, is to run off the vehicle battery by pressing this button here. To use the water heater on hookup on electric, you'll need to make sure that the water heating button is pushed in on the main control panel. You can then turn the water heater on at the control inside the wardrobe. Push the button to open the wardrobe, and you'll find the switch in the bottom left corner of the wardrobe. Switch to the up position for standard temperature 50-degree hot water. Central position is off, and down for hotter 70-degree hot water, and back to the centre for off. To use the water heater on gas, you'll need to make sure that the gas is turned on and that the vent cover on the exterior of the motorhome is removed. Then the same process, up for 50 degree, down for 70 degrees, and central for off. To use the space heating on electric, you must be connected to mains electricity. So turn on the space heating button here, then turn this dial here till you get a green light. The 500 setting is usually enough. You can then control the heating from the left-hand dial on top of the heater itself. So on the outer ring here, turn this so that the white line lines up with M for manual. You can see the fan comes on and you just use the inner button to adjust the temperature. On the outer ring again, you can switch to fan mode. There is also an automatic mode. If you want to use this, look at the instruction manual, and 0 is for off. On the same unit, you can operate it on gas with the control on the right hand side with the flame symbol. So to turn it on gas, push down and turn. You'll hear clicking until the gas fire is lit. Leave it for a few seconds before releasing and adjusting to the required temperature. To turn off, just turn back to 0. In your bathroom, you've got storage cupboards top and bottom, as well as your sink. The toilet has an adjustable bowl, so you can get that to the right position. When you use the toilet, the flush is here, so you press and hold this blue button. Unlike your toilet at home, which has conventional plumbing, you will need to open a valve in the bottom of the toilet so everything falls through into the cassette below. So to open the valve, push this grey lever to the right, and then don't forget to close it again by pulling back to the left to make sure you don't get smells coming out of your toilet cassette. You'll get an indicator light on this panel here to tell you when your toilet cassette is full and needs changing. The doors of the shower are magnetic. They should always be closed for travel. The left door should always be at the front, the right at the back, so open it like this. The water for the shower comes from the standard water heater, and then you just have mixer operation from this tap here. You have a drop-down TV in the cab area, so pull out the button on the right hand side of the TV to drop it down, so you can see this button here. The on-off button is located on the top of the TV there, so that's got power, and the remote control can be found in the kitchen drawer. When you've finished using the TV, fold it back up, make sure it clicks into position and the button on the right hand side is fully in. In the cupboard next to the control panel, you've got an aerial booster and fully adjustable aerial. So to turn on the booster, there's a button on the top. Just press that, you'll see the light comes on. You're probably going to need to adjust the aerial slightly to get a good signal. So to do that, unscrew this locking mechanism here, which will allow you to then raise the extender and move the aerial around if necessary to get a good signal. When you see a green light on the booster, you have a good signal. You can then tighten up the locking mechanism and your TV is ready to use. Before travelling, you must take the aerial down. So unscrew the locking mechanism, pull down on the extension pipe, make sure that this green H is pointing forwards, which will put the aerial in the right position for travel, and then tighten up the locking mechanism here. If you forget the direction for anything, refer to the instructions here. Your lounge area also becomes a dining area. Table is stowed in here. Push the button to open this door. Take out your table. Just pull out the legs on both sides. Make sure they click into position in these little notches here. And your table is ready to use. When you're ready to put the table away, again turn it on its side, push back on these support arms here to hold the table away, and then you can stow it back in this cupboard. If you need a table for outside, there is a separate outside table which you'll find in the external locker on the driver's side of the motorhome. Your bed makes up out of the lounge area. You've got space under here for storing your bedding. When you want to pull the bed out, just pull from both sides. The bases meet in the middle, and then pull these forward. The back cushions drop down. And you've got your bed. When you're ready to put it away, pull up the back cushions, sit those on the top, and just push the two sections apart. It's better if you can get in the centre of them, so you're pushing them straight backwards and not at an angle, and they'll push away easily. And you have your lounge back. Most of your windows in the living area are opened just by unclicking the catches on the edge of the window. Push out as far as you want it to go, and then tighten up using the levers on both sides. When you're ready to bring it in, just turn those back anti-clockwise, and the window will come in. Lock it shut. All the windows come with fly screens and also night blinds. You've got blinds in the cab. To operate the blinds, squeeze together the two buttons here and pull the blind gently forward. They are only made of paper, so you do need to be a bit careful with them, and that will click into place at the other end. You've also got blinds, again, pull together here, pull this across the main windscreen, and they will click together in the centre. To open the blinds, just pull backwards, and they will click into position in the frame. Lights in the centre of the motorhome. For the kitchen one, turn this dial clockwise to open and anti-clockwise to close. It has a night blind. Squeeze the two buttons together and pull the blind over. Again, squeeze them together to retract backwards. For the central skylight to open, push in this button here and pull back to open the skylight. It will lock in one of three positions, and then to close, push the arm back forwards and up beyond this button. You have on this fly screen from this side and a night vision from that side. The skylight, you first need to use these side catches. Push the central button before turning the catch on both sides. You can then come to the winding handle here, pull this out and turn anti-clockwise to raise the skylight to the level you want. Obviously back the other direction, clockwise to close it. And then push the handle back in and close the two side catches. You've got a fly screen which pulls across here, and behind that also a night blind. In the emergency toolkit you've got various screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches, also various types of tape. There's also spare batteries for the carbon monoxide detector and TV remote, as well as hookup adapters for the hose in case they don't fit the tap on your campsite. This motorhome is based on a Fiat Ducato. The cab is very similar to a modern car and has all the features you'd expect. It also has sat-nav and a reversing camera. Please note that the handbrake is on the right hand side. You'll find detailed instructions in your motorhome information pack, as well as insurance and breakdown cover documents. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it can help you to make the most of your motorhome experience.